Sai Ram. We have come to the end part of the chapter number 1 called sets. We began the chapter by defining what is set, what is subset, power set, and then set operations. And in the previous session, we have seen how this knowledge of set theory can be used for certain practical problems. Now we move on to the end part of this chapter, and we will be doing problems from miscellaneous exercise. Mind you, in our textbooks, the miscellaneous exercise has good number of challenging problems where you need to think. Till now it was such that whatever you learnt, whatever formulae you have learnt, if you apply them, you very easily get the answer. But now you need to think, because that is one of the objectives of studying mathematics. What are the objectives of studying mathematics? To acquire knowledge, to develop understanding, develop skills, and then apply that particular knowledge. But now beyond that, people are looking forward to make people think logically, analytically. So this particular exercise problems are based upon analysis. You need to think. You cannot simply apply some formula and solve the problems. Let us begin. Maybe one or two may be simple, but afterwards for every problem you need to think independently. And the purpose of this particular class is you get an idea how to think, because once you get an idea, maybe you will be able to apply that in solving other problems. So let us begin. The first problem is a very simple one. Decide among the following sets which sets are subsets of one another. Mind you, the first set he has given in set builder form. So what is the set? He says A equal to x such that x belongs to R, which means it is a real number, and then he says satisfies x square minus 8x plus 12 equal to 0. So what we do is, first we solve the equation so that you will know what are the values of x, and we can also rewrite the set in roster form. So if you take this equation x square minus 8x plus 12 equal to 0, the factors are x minus 6 and x minus 2. So this gives you x equal to 2 and 6. So in fact A is nothing but a set with elements 2 and 6. Now look at the other sets. What does B contain? 2, 4, 6. What does C contain? It is 2, 4, 6, 8 and then dash dash dash. Basically even natural numbers. And what does D contain? It contains only a singleton set with element 6. And what is the question? He says which sets are subsets of one another. So begin with A. When do we say a particular set is a subset of another set? When the elements of that set are present in the second one. So what are the elements of A? 2, 6. 2, 6 is there in B. So we can say the first answer is A is a subset of B. We also find that these elements are there in C. So we can also say A is a subset of C. Okay, and then proceed. Does these elements 2, 6 are there in any other set? No. So what do we say? We leave the A. Start with B. Does these elements 2, 4, 6 are there in any set? We find in C. So the next answer is B is a subset of C. What about C? C is a set of even natural numbers. All these numbers are not there in any set. So C is not a subset of any set as such. What about D? 6. 6 is there in A, 6 is there in B, 6 is also there in C. So we can say that D is a subset of A, D is a subset of B, and D is also a subset of C. This is how we solve this problem. Let us move to the next problem. If it is true, prove it. If it is false, give an example. Remember, this is one technique or one particular procedure which you have to keep in mind, whether it is set theory, whether it is relation and function, any chapter for that matter. Whenever you want to say yes, you have to prove it. And when you want to say it is not true, one example is enough to justify. You don't need to give several examples. If it is not true for one, it is not true. So, to say it is not, you have to give one example. But example cannot be used to say it is true, because for that example it may be true, for some other example it may not be true. Okay? So, he says the first one is x belongs to A and A belongs to B, then x belongs to B. The second one is, or in fact it is the third one, if A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C, then A is a subset of C. Fifth one, he says, if x belongs to A and A is not a subset of B, then x belongs to B. In each case, we have to say whether it is true or false. If you say it is true, you have to prove it. If it is false, if you can give an example. So, let us begin with the first one. X belongs to A. Why not we write A? Let us say A is equal to, on your own you have to write, you can just write with one element or you can also write with more elements, but make sure that x is there in A. And then he says A belongs to B. Remember, this particular symbol belongs to is used between an element and a set. It is never used between two sets. If it is used as the case here, it means that the set A itself becomes element of B. So, how do you write B? In that case, we say B is equal to, remember A becomes element. So, whatever elements you have written for A, that is x, y, the whole thing becomes element. Let us say it also got Z. A very critical point it is. What is the critical point here? Belongs to sign is used between an element and a set. It is never used between two sets. If it is used as the case here, it means that the set A itself is an element. Now you may say, can sets be elements of a set? Yes, of course, because we already defined power set. What is power set? Which contains all possible subsets. So all subsets, they become part of it. So sets also can be elements. So how do you write set B? You have to write set A as an element, and then you can stop with that, or you can write more elements. Seeing this, now tell me, can we say x belongs to B? Can we say that x is there in this? X is there, but not independently. So, this example shows that x belongs to B is not true. Why it is not true? When it will become true? Suppose if this bracket sign is removed, then you can say that x belongs to B. But right now it is more like x, y together is one set. X is not part of B, x, y is part of B. Since x, y together it is part of B, you cannot take out x separately. So the statement is not true, it is false, and this example is good enough. Let us move to the next problem. He says A is a subset of B, B is subset of C, A is subset of C. Very simple. Statement is true. How do you prove it? Assume, let x belongs to A. We can say that x belongs to B. Why? Since A is a subset of B. if A is a subset of B, all elements of A are present in B. So if X belongs to A, it also belongs to B. Now he says B is a subset of C. So this implies that X belongs to C. Why? Because B is a subset of C. Now take these two things. X belongs to A, X belongs to C. If X belongs to A as well as C, the conclusion is A is a subset of C. True. This particular statement is true. So in this manner, we will be able to solve the problems. Remember, whenever you are saying it is not true, example will suffice. But when you are saying it is true, you have to prove. So this is the proof. We assumed that X belongs to A. Since A is a subset of B, we said X belongs to B. Now from X belongs to B, we proceeded to X belongs to C. How? Because B is a subset of C. Now taking this and this together, X belongs to A implies X belongs to, sorry, this is not A, this is, yes, correct, A belongs to, correct. X belongs to A and X belongs to C means A is a subset of C, which is true. Let us come to the next problem. If X belongs to A and if A is not a subset of B, then X belongs to B. A is not a subset of B. You assume any elements in such a way that A is not a subset of B. Let us say for example, but X belongs to A. So we can say let A equal to xy, let us say for example. A is not a subset of B. So let us say B equal to, make sure that xy both are not in B. So what B can contain? Let us say y, z, etc. We have made sure that X belongs to A by assuming that set A contains xy. We made sure that A is not a subset of B because that's what he has given. Now, can we say that X belongs to B? Can we say that X belongs to B? We don't find X in B. So this implies that X does not belong to B. So the given statement is false. X belongs to A. A is not a subset of B. So what it actually means, the elements which are in A are not there in B. Actually you can think in a reverse order. If A is a subset of B, elements of A will be in B. What are the elements in A? It has got X. So X will be automatically there in B. If it is not a subset, X will not be in B. If it is not in B, it cannot be in A. So the statement is X does not belong to B, it is false. Let us move to the next problem. Let A, B, C be the set such that A union B equal to A union C. A intersection B is equal to A intersection C. Show that B is equal to C. This is our question. Let us try solving it. What we want to prove? We want to prove that set B is equal to C. What is that he has given? A union B equal to A union C. How to solve? You have to think in a different way. Since we want to prove B equal to C, what you do is take intersection of B with both sides. Means what? Since A union B is equal to A union C, take intersection of B both sides. We can say B intersection A union B will be equal to B intersection A union C. Now apply distributive property. Distributive property of intersection over union. So how do you apply it? We will say B intersection A union B intersection B equal to, here you apply this you will get B intersection A union B intersection C. He has given A intersection B and A intersection C are equal. That we will be using. We have began with what he has given first. In the process we will be using the second result. Now simplify it. Let us say this B intersection A is nothing but A intersection B union. What is B intersection B? If you take intersection of one set with itself, you will get the same set. So it is nothing but B equal to, this can be written as A intersection B union B intersection C. Now think about A intersection B union B. Directly you may not understand. Take a simple diagram to understand it. Now let us say here we have a set. Let us say this is representing A, this is B. Tell me what is A intersection B here? A intersection B is this common area. This is A intersection B. We are taking the union of this with A. What you will get? If you take union of this common area with A, what you will get? You will get A. Yes or no? So, similarly, A intersection B is this. If you take union with B, what you will get? You will get B. If you take union with A, you will get A. If you take union of this common area with B, you will get B. So, the left hand side is nothing but B. B equal to, let it be as it is, A intersection B union B intersection C. Let us say this is one equation. Remember how did we begin? We began with this result and then we took intersection of their intersection with B both sides. What is our objective? Our objective is to prove B equal to C. Do the same thing with set C. As you did for B, do the same thing with set C. So, how do you write it? This is 1. Okay. So, once again write A union B equal to, you can say since, okay, equal to A union C. Now take intersection with C, either that side or this side does not matter. Let us say C intersection A union B is equal to C intersection A union C. Apply distributive property. How do you apply distributive property? We will say C intersection A union C intersection B equal to C intersection A union C intersection C. Do not worry about the left side, but we know that A intersection C and A intersection B both are equal. C intersection A can be written as A intersection C because intersection of two sets is commutative. So, whatever is A intersection C, it is same as C intersection A union. This can be written as B intersection C equal to, what is C intersection A? You write it as it is, as A intersection C union. Now think about, as we did here, we came across B intersection B. If you take intersection of a set with itself, you will get the same set. Similarly, C intersection C will be C. And apply the same method. You remember the diagram, A intersection B union B is nothing but B. Similarly, A intersection C is nothing but C. Let us say this is the third result. Compare second and third. B says B is equal to A intersection B. Okay, one more step you can write. Instead of A intersection B, we can say A intersection B union B intersection C. Compare the second result with third result. B equal to A intersection B, we have union B intersection C, B intersection C. B equal to that right side and that right hand side is equal to C. So, we can say B is equal to C. this is the result. Try picking up various things which we are applying in order to solve the problems. Okay. Let us move to the next problem. Sorry, A is a subset of B. This is the first one. Second one is A difference B equal to 5. Third one is A union B equal to B. And finally, A intersection B, A. To solve this problem, we have two methods. One is the logical method which we have applied in other problems, and the other is sometimes the problem becomes very simple when you use Venn diagram. So let us try doing this particular problem by using Venn diagram. What is the first result? First result, he says A is a subset of B. How do you write it or how do you represent it with the help of Venn diagram? Is very simple. Let us say this is one set which is representing A, and he says A is a subset of B. So take a bigger set B. Now let us say A contains the elements 1, 2, 3, and B contains, along with 1, 2, 3, it also has got 4, 5, 6, 7. Means we are trying to say that the elements of A are 1, 2, 3, elements of B are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, we need not give example, means this is only for our understanding sake. Okay. Now, how to prove all the 4 are equivalent? First one we have shown, A is a subset of B. Now, from the diagram, check the second one. What is A difference B? A is a subset of B. A is inside B. So, if you take A difference B, what do you mean by A difference B? Elements which are in A but not in B. We know that A is a subset of B, so all elements of A are in B. So there is no element in A which is in B. So what is A difference B? For example, here itself you can see what is A difference B. There is no element extra in set A which is not in B. So the answer is null set. So we can say that first and 2 are equivalent. Now come to the third one. What the third one says? A union B. Here is A and here is B. Since A is a subset of B, what is A union B? A is inside B. So if you take union of A with B, you get B. So we can say that A union B is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is nothing but B. So we find that the first one, second one, third one are all equivalent, because you are able to get the same result with the help of same sets, with the help of same diagram. They are not different. Come to the last one. A intersection B equal to A. What do you mean by intersection? Intersection basically means elements which are common. If A is a subset of B, what are the common elements? What is common between A and B? It is nothing but A itself. So, A intersection B, elements which are common is nothing but 1, 2, 3, and this is nothing but A. So, in this way, with the help of diagram, in a very simple manner, we can prove that all the 4 statements which are given are equivalent. So, in conclusion, we will say, hence 1, 2, 3 and 4 are equivalent. This is one of the method. This is not the only method. You can also solve this problem logically, but you can also think about using diagram. So whenever a problem is given to you, when you know more things, you can apply different things. If suppose something is not working out, you can always switch over to another method to see whether it can be solved. Let us move to the next. If A is a subset of B, Then he says prove that C minus B is a subset of C minus A. How do you prove a particular set is a subset of another set? When you can prove that the element which is there in the first set is also present in the second set. So you can use the element method to prove it. How do you prove it? Let us assume that let X belongs to C difference B. What do you mean by saying X belongs to C difference B? X is in C, but it is not in B. So this implies X belongs to C and X does not belong to B. Now apply what he has given. He says A is a subset of B. If X is not element of B, X is also not element of A. Why? Because A is a subset of B. Whatever elements are there in A are present in B. If the element is not in B, it is not also present in A. So this can be written as X belongs to C and X does not belong to A, as A is a subset of B. Now club these two things together, we can say that X belongs to C difference A. We started with C difference B, we got C difference A. X, which was element of C difference B, now we proved that it is an element of C difference A. In conclusion, we can say that C minus B set is a subset of C minus A. Proved. In this manner, by using element method, we can solve the problems. Let us move to the next. Problem number 6. The problem is, assume that PA equal to PB. Show that A equal to B. When do we say two sets are equal? When do you say two sets are equal? Two definitions. If all elements of A are present in B, and if all elements of B are present in A, we say A and B are equal. That is a simple definition. What do you say if all elements of A are in B? When we say all elements of A are in B, we conclude that A is a subset of B. What do you mean by saying all elements of B are in A? It means B is a subset of A. So if A is a subset of B, again B is a subset of A, we can say A and B are equal. This is how we can solve the problem. So if you want to prove A equal to B, what do you need to prove? You need to prove that A is a subset of B and B is a subset of A. In conclusion, we can say that A and B are equal. So how do we do it? He has given PA equal to PB. What do you mean by PA? Power set of A. What do you mean by power set of A? If A is any set, power set of A contains all possible subsets. Similarly, power set of B, what do you mean by that? All the elements which are there in B, with that as many subsets you can make, putting them together we call it PB. So begin. We want to prove A equal to B. So let us assume that let X belongs to A. A may have only X or A may have more element, doesn't matter, but X belongs to A. If it is so, this implies that the set X belongs to P of A. Are you able to understand? If you are not able to understand, let us just go back to power set. A simple example, let us say A equal to 1, 2. So what is power set of A? It contains all possible subsets. One is the null set, which is subset of all, then a singleton set with element 1, then with 2, and then we know that every set is a subset of itself. If A has 2 elements, P of A will have 2 square elements. 2 square means 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how we write power set. Same logic we are using. If X belongs to A, for example here 1 belongs to A, we can see that this singleton set is an element of PA. If X belongs to A, this singleton set X belongs to P of A. I think now we can proceed to understand. Now, he has given that PA equal to PB. So, we can also say that this implies that this element, this singleton set also belongs to PB. Why? Because PA equal to PB. Now, remember it is a singleton set part of power set. If singleton set X belongs to power set B, we can conclude that X belongs to B. We started with X belongs to A and we proved that X belongs to B. Conclusion, we can say that A is a subset of B. This is one equation. Now do the other way. Take one more element, let us say Y belongs to B. If Y belongs to B, we can say that singleton set Y belongs to PB. If this singleton set Y belongs to PB, we can say that it also belongs to PA. Why? Because PA and PB are equal. If this belongs to PA, we can say that indirectly Y belongs to A. We began with Y belongs to B, we came to the conclusion that Y belongs to A, hence we can say that B is a subset of A. This is second result. What the first one says, A is a subset of B. What the second one says, B is a subset of A. Both are subsets of each other, means all elements of A are in B, all elements of B are in A, so both are equal, hence A equal to B. This is how we prove these problems. Let us move to the next. PA union PB is equal to P of A union B. This is our question. Justify your answer. How do you solve it? Very simple. Let us say, assume, let A equal to any elements you can take. Let us say it contains X, Y, and let us say B contains Y, Z. Now tell me what is PA. We know that PA basically means all possible subsets. One is the null set, then the singleton set, and the set itself. This is PA. Similarly, write PB, null set, singleton set with Y, with Z, and with YZ. This is PB. Now write A union B. What do you mean by A union B? Elements which are in A or in B or in both. So it has got elements X, Y, Z. Okay. Now write P of A union B. All possible subsets of A union B. So we have null set, singleton set X, singleton set Y, singleton set Z, then XY, YZ, ZX, and then the set itself, that is X, Y, Z. P A union B, that is right hand side. We got right hand side. Also get left hand side. In left hand side we got independently PA and PB. So find out PA union PB. What is PA union PB? Write all these elements together. So it has got phi, it has got X, it has got Y, it has got Z, it has got XY, it has got YZ, that's all. Phi, XY, and then XY, phi, Y, Z and YZ. Now compare both. Are they equal? We find that these two elements, which are the two elements? are not there in this. So, they are not equal. So, conclusion, he is asked, is it true that for any two sets PA union PB equal to PA union B? It is not true. Why? Because they are not equal. So, simply write, hence conclusion is PA union PB is not equal to PA union B. This is how we solve these problems. Let us move further to the next problem, problem number 8. Remember, they are very logical. As you solve, as you are able to solve, you develop your logical sense. Now, let us say this. But before we attempt these two problems, I will like to clarify one important concept which we generally do not come across, but we use it. What is it? Now, let us say, for example, here is a set. Let us say this is A and this is B. Now, tell me, what do you mean by A difference B? See, here we have come across A difference B. I want to explain. What is A difference B? Elements which are in A but not in B. So, let us say I am giving a kind of shading for that. These are the elements which are in A but not in B. So, this shading basically represents A difference B. Okay. Now, what is B dash? Tell me, what do you mean by B dash? B complement. What is B complement? If you take difference of B with respect to universal set. Now, let us say we give a different kind of shading for that. Elements which are in B, elements which are not in B but they are in U, means outside B. Now, let us say these are the elements. Outside B is called B dash. This red shading is for B dash. Okay. Now, I will ask you to take intersection of A with B dash. How do you take intersection of two sets? Common elements. Intersection of A, that is the first set A, with B dash. What do you get? Intersection of A with B dash. What do you get? You get the same A difference B. Observe carefully. So, a conclusion, or you can say a formula. What is the formula? A difference B is also equal to A intersection B dash. And that formula, we will be using it while doing this problem. Now, let us see how it is used. You do not generally come across this formula. While doing it, you learn. So, we want to prove A equal to this. Whenever you want to prove, what is that we are trying to do? We are trying to prove left hand side is equal to right hand side. And where do you begin? You begin with a side which has got more terms. For example, here right hand side has got more terms. So, we will begin with that and finally come to left hand side A. So, we say right hand side is equal to, observe this, A intersection B as it is, union A difference B. You please use that formula. What is the formula? A intersection B dash. What is this? This is nothing but use of distributive property. What was the distributive property? The distributive property was A union B intersection C is equal to A intersection B, sorry, A union B intersection A union C. This was called distributive property of union over intersection. We are taking distribution through through union over intersection. So, A union B intersection A union C. Now, simply replace C by B dash. What do you get? Here only you see A union B, let it be as it is, A union B dash. If you replace this C with B dash. Go back to the previous step. What you will write? You will write A union B intersection B dash. Yes or no? So write that. So this can be written as A union B intersection B dash. Once again, if you are not sure about it, once again check. How do you write union over intersection? Distributive law, A union B intersection A union B dash. That B dash is nothing but C. Now, come to this second bracket. What is common between B and B dash? B dash is nothing but the elements which are not there in B. So basically, complement of sets are disjoint. So there is nothing common. So what is B intersection B dash? It is nothing but A union phi. And what is A union phi? Is nothing but A. So this is the proof, and which is nothing but left hand side. So in this way we prove the first one. In the same way we can also prove the second one. How do you prove? The second one is, once again now here we can see that left hand side is little longer. So begin with left hand side. Left hand side is A union B difference A. Please apply that formula. So you will have A union. What is B difference A? Can be written as B intersection A dash. Use the distributive property once again. So it is A union B intersection A union A dash. Okay. Now think, there we have come across B intersection B dash. B and B dash were disjoint sets. So there was nothing common. So when we took intersection, we wrote it as null set. But here it is union. What is A union A dash? What is A dash actually? From universal set you remove A and then add A. So minus A plus A, what it will become? 0, and you will be left with U. So A union A dash is nothing but universal set. So you have A union B intersection U. Are you able to follow? This is like this. This is the universal set. This is A, this is B. And if you take all the elements, this is A union B. The whole shading is A union B. Now if you take intersection of A union B with universal set, you are taking intersection, elements which are common. So what do you get? You will get the same. That is A union B, which is the right hand side. So in this way we can solve these problems. Let us move to the next problem. Let us take one at a time. First one. He says using properties. Which property we need to use? You can see two operations are used at once. Whenever two operations are used at once, it is called distributive property, distributive law. So begin with left hand side and use distributive property. So this can be written as A union A intersection A union B. What is A union A? Is nothing but A. So A intersection A union B. Now tell me, what will be common between A and A union B? If you don't understand directly, just go back to the simple diagram. Let us say this is a universal set, this is A, this is B. Now tell me, what is A union B? The whole thing. The whole thing is A union B. If you take intersection of A with A union B, intersection means common. Common between set A and A union B, you can see that it is nothing but A only. So this is equal to A, and that's what is the right hand side. So it is proved. A union A intersection B is A. Same manner this one also can be done. Again use the distributive property for left hand side. This can be written as A intersection A union A intersection B. What is A intersection A? What is common between A and A itself? is A only. So, A union A intersection B. Once again, that concept also, if you are not able to directly understand, simply draw a small diagram. Now, let us say these are two sets. We are talking about A intersection B. So, this is what it is, common area. Now, he says take union of A with that. If you add this with A, what will be left? You will be left with A, which is the right hand side. So, in this manner, these problems can be solved. Let us move to the next problem. Problem number 10. He says, show that A intersection B equal to A intersection C need not imply B equal to C. What does it mean? We are trying to negate the statement. What is that we are negating? B is not equal to C. And we already discussed that whenever you want to negate a statement, you can just give an example. So, assume the sets and prove it. You have to assume in such a way that A intersection B and A intersection C are equal. So, let us say A equal to, you have elements x comma y. B has got elements, let us say y comma z. As a result, we can say that A intersection B is y. A intersection B is y. He says A intersection C is also same. So, what you should take C? C must contain the element y, and let us say you have element u. So, tell me now what is A intersection C? A intersection C is also y. So, what do you find? A intersection B is y, A intersection C is also y, both are equal. A intersection B is equal to A intersection C, but you can see that B and C are not equal. Why do you say they are not equal? Because B has got Z which C is not having, C has got U which B is not having. B is not equal to C. Very simple, logically we prove. Let us go to the next problem. 11th problem. He says let A and B be sets, and then he says if A intersection X, if A intersection X equal to B intersection X equal to phi, and A union X is equal to B union X, show A equal to B. In fact, we solved a problem similar to that initially. You want to prove A equal to B, isn't it? So, what you do, take the intersection of A both sides. So, we can say A intersection A union X is equal to A intersection B union X, and then apply. You can say since this is given, so this can be written, and then proceed, use the distributive law. We will say A intersection A union A intersection X equal to A intersection B union A intersection X. We have applied distributive property. A intersection A union X is A intersection A union A intersection X, A intersection B union A intersection X. Now, remember what he has given. He says A intersection X and B intersection X both are null sets. Okay. So, we can say that what is A intersection A is nothing but A union A intersection X is nothing but phi. Why phi? Because he has given equal to A intersection B union A intersection X. What is A union phi? A, if it is added to null set, you are left with A, correct? So, we can say that A is equal to A intersection B union A intersection X. As we have taken the intersection of the set with A, we can do the same thing with B, because we want to prove that B and A are equal. So, we can say again B intersection A union X is equal to B intersection B union X. Simplify, you will get B intersection A union B intersection X equal to B intersection B union B intersection X. What is B intersection B? Is nothing but B. Union B intersection X, he has already given that it is phi. So, what is the intersection of these two? Sorry, what is the union of these two? It is B. And look at this, this can be written as A intersection B union B intersection X. If you want, you can put null set also. Here you can, B intersection X is also null set, so you can say null set. And what is union of this? We can say A intersection B equal to B. Same thing here also you can do. A intersection X, if you substitute phi, you are going to get A intersection B. So, A is equal to A intersection B, B is also equal to A intersection B. So, we conclude that A and B both are equal. You can call it first equation and you can call this second equation, and then we can conclude that A is equal to B, because both of them are equal to A intersection B. Let us move to the next problem, the last problem of the textbook. And with this problem, we can conclude. Now, what this problem says, find sets A, B and C. You have to write sets on your own such that A intersection B, B intersection C, A intersection C are non-empty sets, means they are not null sets. But in the same time, A intersection B intersection C is a null set. As I was mentioning initially, you can solve the problems logically, and sometimes with the help of diagram, you can do it very quickly. For example, this problem. Now, let us say this is a universal set, and think about three sets. Let us say this is one set, this is second set, this is third set. Let us say this is A, this is B, this is C. Let us say here the element is A, here the element is B, here the element is C. Or in order to avoid A, B, C, let us say here it is 1, here it is 2, here it is 3. What did he say? He says find sets. Now, let us say we can say set A contains the elements 1, 2, set B contains the element 1, 3, set C contains the elements 2, 3. That condition is fulfilled. Next he says A intersection B, B intersection C, A intersection C are non-empty sets. How do you say they are not empty sets? Write what is there. A intersection B has got element 1, B intersection C has got element 3, A intersection C has got element 2. Now, tell me what is there in common area. A intersection B intersection C is null set. So, with the help of a simple diagram, we could solve this problem without much difficulty, which can also be solved logically. But since we are confirming it, this becomes very easy. So, in this manner, either by using logic or by using Venn diagram, we will be able to solve the problems. Remember, this particular exercise problems are logical. By applying formula, you don't get directly, you have to think. So, develop the habit of thinking, and then good number of problems he has solved before the exercise. Try doing those problems as a homework in order to learn these concepts. With this, we come to a close of this particular chapter called sets, which happens to the first chapter of our first PUC or 11th standard. Okay? In the next session, we will look into the second chapter called relations and functions. Thank you. Sai Ram.